Good afternoon, everybody. I am Pradeep Hirapure, Assistant Professor. Today I am going to deliver my lecture on the one more important technique, that is electrophoresis. Dear students, in my today's lecture, I will cover the following points: definition and history of the electrophoresis, general principle of electrophoresis, component required for the electrophoresis, factor affecting electrophoresis process, types of electrophoresis, and paper electrophoresis. Dear students, before going to discuss about the history and discovery of the electrophoresis, first of all I would like to explain what is electrophoresis. This electrophoresis words, when we break into the two short words, that is the electro means related to the electric field, and the phoresis nothing but the migration. So basically when we going to define the electrophoresis, nothing but the process in which under the influence of electric current the charged molecule or charge bearing particles migrated toward the opposite charged electrode, and this process known as a electrophoresis. Dear students, you know very well, when we going to discuss about the different types of molecule which are present inside the cell, it may be the nucleic acid, it may be the RNA or DNA, or it may be the proteins, carbohydrates and lipids. So when you are talking about the different types of molecules or compounds present in a cell, so out of these compounds, some compounds having a particular charge. It may be the positive charge, it may be the negative charge. For example, the nucleic acid having a negative charge. In other hand, there is a protein molecule, and this protein molecule is also important in the research. This protein molecule may have a positive charge or sometime may have a negative charge, or some protein molecule are a neutral. So such type of charged molecule we want to separate, and for that purpose we use this electrophoresis technique. So dear students, when we apply the electric current, so under the influence of electric current, your charged molecule migrated toward the opposite charge electrode due to the electrostatics attraction in between the electrode and your particles or your molecules, and this phenomena is helped to separate the charge bearing molecule from the mixtures. Dear students, this electrophoresis method first time discovered by the scientist Ernest W.K. Teszels. This scientist worked in his laboratory to separate the various types of protein molecules from blood, and while working the separation of serum protein, the scientist observed that when we apply the electric current, so some protein molecules travels toward the opposite charge electrode. So in his laboratory he performed the experiment, and that experiment nothing but the protein separation. Dear students, this scientist received the Nobel Prize for the discovery of important and valuable method, that is electrophoresis. This Swedish scientist received the Nobel Prize in chemistry in the year 1948. Dear students, now we are going to discuss about the basic principle of electrophoresis. You can observe this light. On the slide there is two images. This one is the first image in which you can observe. This one is the tank, or this one is the reservoir, and in the reservoir there is a buffer, and within that buffer there is a different types of molecules, and you can observe here some molecule bearing the negative charge as well as the positive charge, but the net charge is positive. Here in some molecule there is a single positive charge and single negative charge, and the net charge is neutral. Here the single positive charge, a double positive charge, so the molecule net charge will be positive. So inside the buffer reservoir, whatever the charge bearing molecule presents, all the charge bearing molecules start to migrate toward the opposite charged electrode when we apply the electric field. You can observe in this diagrammatic representation, there is a electrode. That electrode nothing but the positive electrode, and this one is the negative electrode. When we switch on the electric current and apply the electric field to this solution, so within that solution whatever the charged molecules, so out of these the positively charged molecules travels toward the negatively charged electrode, and the negatively charged bearing molecules travels toward the positively charged electrode. So this one is the electrophoresis phenomena. So dear students, when the molecules start to migrate toward the opposite charged electrodes, so at that time simultaneously there is a friction force acted by this medium, acted by this solution or solvent on the individual molecules, and due to the friction force acted by the medium on the molecules, the different types of molecules migrated toward the toward the opposite charge electrode with respect to the different speed, and that's why due to the different speed of migration, these molecules can reach toward at the electrode, and it required the different time. You can see here in the next diagrammatic representation, this one is the positive charge electrode. When we apply the electric current to the medium, so under the influence of electric current, this positive charge molecule start to migrate toward the opposite charge electrode. This one is the negative charge, this one is the positive charge electrode. So when we apply the electric current, this positive charge molecule migrated toward the negative charge electrode, and this positive charge molecule when migrated toward the negative charge electrode, simultaneously this medium, whatever the medium, it may be the liquid or it may be the gel or it may be the paper, so this medium continuously acted the some force, and that force is a friction force, or we can say the sieving effect, this effect known as a sieving effect. So that sieving force acted by this medium on the individual molecule, and this force acted on the molecules, and the force is depends upon the size, charge and shape of the molecule, and that's why when we apply the electric current, so in the under the electric field, the charged molecules separated from each other on the basis of molecular weight, on the basis of charge and on the basis of shape. So that's why this electrophoresis is a process in which we can separate only the charge bearing molecule. So this one is the basic principle of electrophoresis. Now we are going to discuss about the different component of the electrophoresis. But before going to discuss about the different component, you can observe on this slide When we perform the electrophoresis, and after the end of this process, there is, if it is a gel electrophoresis, so on the gel or within the gel there is a separation of different types of molecule in the band pattern, and these band patterns are the peak patterns, nothing but the electrophotogram. So we can say this, whatever the result or whatever the band pattern we obtain after the completion of electrophoresis, it may be the paper electrophoresis or it may be the gel electrophoresis, so that result known as a electropherogram. Dear students, now going to discuss about the factor affecting electrophoresis. Which factor is responsible to affect the electrophoresis process? One by one we are going to discuss about the different types of factor affecting the electrophoresis. There is a sample, there is a buffer, there is medium and electric field. These are the four important factors which are responsible to affect the electrophoresis process. First of all, I would like to explain how the sample is responsible to affect the electrophoresis. Dear students, you know very well, in our mixture there may be the sample, and that sample may have a particular charge. That sample may have a particular size, means the molecular weight, and that sample may have a particular shape. If higher the charge, then the sample or the molecule migrated toward the opposite electrode fastly. But depending upon the charge and size ratio, this sample migrated toward the opposite charge electrode with a specific speed, because depending upon the size or depending upon the molecular weight, the medium of that electrophoretic unit, that mediums acted the sieving effect or the friction force on that molecule. If the molecular weight is high, the migration speed will be slow, and the molecular weight is low, so the migration speed of that molecule is high. So depending upon the molecular size or depending upon the molecular weight and charge ratio, the molecules travels toward the opposite charge electrode with a specific speed. So the low molecular weight molecules migrated toward the opposite charge electrode fastly as compared to the high molecular weight. There is a third characteristic, that is a shape. The particular sample or particular sample containing the molecule and that molecule having a specific shape. If the globular molecule is there, so the globular molecules easily pass out through the sieves or the pores, and that's why that globular molecule may travel fastly as compared to the non-globular molecule. So the shape of samples also affect the electrophoresis process. The second one factor, that is buffer. Dear students, when we perform the electrophoresis, so we required the electrophoretic unit, we required the buffer, and we required the samples, we required the loading die also and visualizing die. So what is role of buffer in a electrophoresis? Dear students, we can use the different types of buffer for different types of electrophoresis. You know very well, there is a paper electrophoresis, there is a gel electrophoresis, and in the gel electrophoresis there is again the different types of gel electrophoresis, it may be the agar gel electrophoresis, it may be the polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis, it may be the SDS page electrophoresis, it may be the native page electrophoresis. So there is a different types of electrophoretic methods available nowadays. So different types of buffer system we can use. For example, in agar gel electrophoresis we routinely use the TAU buffer. For the separation of mRNA we use TBA buffer. So the different types of buffer containing the different molecule, means we can say that depending upon the different composition of buffer we utilize in a electrophoresis, it will again affect the electrophoretic mobility, because depends upon the composition, the ionic strength actually depends upon the composition of that buffer. And if the ionic strength is high, then what happens? So ionic strength is high means what? The buffer contains the high concentration of ions, and when we apply the electric field and perform the electrophoresis techniques, during that time, due to the presence of high concentration of ions, maximum electric current carried by the ions, and there is a very less chance to carry the current by molecule. And that's why whenever we use the high ionic strength buffer in electrophoresis, then your molecule migrated toward the opposite charge electrode with a slow speed. But when we use the low ionic strength buffer, so there is a concentration of ions will be low, and due to the minimum concentration of ions in a buffer, your molecules carry the maximum electric current, and that's why your molecule migrated toward the opposite charge electrode very fastly. So in this way your buffer can affect the electrophoretic mobility of that molecule. Apart from this ionic strength of buffer, there is one more factor, that is a pH, and that pH also affect the electrophoretic mobility, because depending upon the pH, whatever the molecule actually we load in electrophoretic assembly, that molecule may have a particular charge, and that charge will be changed due to the varying pH. And that's why if the particular pH if vary the pH, the charge will be vary, and charge will be vary, then the electrostatic attraction in between your molecule and electrode will be changed, and ultimately it affects the mobility of that molecule. For example, higher will be the pH, then the charge will be increase of acidic molecule, and if the pH will low, then that low pH is responsible to increase the charge of basic molecule. So in this way your buffer may affect the electrophoresis process due to its different composition, due to its different ionic strength, and due to its different pH. Dear students, now I am going to discuss about the third factor, that is medium. In this electrophoresis, we use different types of medium. It may be the agar electrophoresis, or it may be the polyacrylamide, it may be the Sepadex. So these are the different types of gelling agents, and we prepare the gel. in a gel electrophoresis. So that gel act as a medium. So whenever we use the different types of gelling agents and we prepare the gel, so the porosity will be different. If you use agar gel electrophoresis and in appropriate concentration, when we add the agarose powder into the distilled water or buffer and boil it and then pour it into the electrophoretic assembly, and whatever the gel will be prepared, so that gel may have a specific porosity. If the concentration of that agarose gel increases, the porosity will be decreases, and ultimately the porosity of that gel or porosity of the mediums affect the mobility or migration speed of that molecule. Lower the porosity, higher the frictions force acted by that molecule on a particular molecule, and the medium shows a higher friction force against the molecular migration or molecular mobility. So depending upon the composition or chemical nature of the gelling agent, agarose is chemically different from the polyacrylamide gel. So agarose, Cefidex or polyacrylamide gel, so whenever we use the different types of chemicals to prepare the gel, so there is some different property, and whenever your molecules start to migrate toward the opposite charge electrode through that medium, so your molecule differentially adsorb on that medium. So there is one factor, that is adsorption. So adsorption of your molecule on the mediums depends upon the chemical nature of that medium. If you change the chemical nature, if you change the gelling agent, the adsorption of your molecules will be changed, and depending upon the adsorption capacity of your molecule on a particular medium, they will migrate with a specific speed. There is a second point, the molecular sieving. Already I explained, whenever we increase the concentration of your any gelling agent, it may be the agarose or it may be the polyacrylamide gel, so concentration when increased, the porosity will be decreased, and small minute pore through which your molecule want to migrate toward the opposite electrode, during that time your medium showing high frictions force, and due to that the speed of that molecule slow down or your molecule migrate with a low speed. And if your porosity will be increased due to the decrease in concentration of gelling agent, so molecular sieving effect or the friction force will also decrease, and your molecules migrate toward the opposite charge electrode with a high speed. So in this way, dear students, mediums also affect the electrophoretic mobility. Dear students, now we are going to discuss about the last factor, that is the electric field. You know very well, when we perform the electrophoresis technique in our laboratory, we need a power pack, and that power pack responsible to provide the specific electric field to the electrophoretic unit. So this electric field is also responsible, or electric field also affect the electrophoretic mobility. If we provide the higher voltage to that electric field, or higher voltage to the electrodes, so under the influence of high voltage electric current, your molecule migrated toward the opposite charge electrode with a high speed, and you decrease the electric field, then at a low voltage the molecules migrate toward the opposite charge electrode with a slower speed. In this way, your electric field also affect the mobility of your molecule in a electrophoresis. Dear students, this electric field also affect the rigidity of your gel medium. If you perform the gel electrophoresis, so there is a specific porosity because you prepared that gel with a particular concentration of agarose. And if you apply very high field of electric current, so it will be responsible to generate the temperature inside the electrophoretic unit. And due to the increase in temperature, your agarose gel start to melt, and it will affect the mobility, it will affect the porosity of that agarose gel. And if your high electric field affect the porosity of the gel due to the increase in temperature, ultimately the mobility of your molecule goes on increase. So in this way, your electric field also very important factor in a electrophoresis, which also responsible to affect the electrophoretic mobility. Dear students, the primary aim of electrophoretic apparatus nothing but to maintain a uniform electric field across the gel, to provide cooling, to reduce thermal artifacts in a gel. This electrophoretic apparatus should allow access to the gel itself for sample loading and visual monitoring of run. Dear students, basically the electrophoresis techniques or method classified into the two types depending upon the direction. In which direction your molecule want to migrate. If your molecule migrate horizontally, so that type of electrophoresis known as a horizontal type of electrophoresis. And for example, the agarose gel electrophoresis. This agarose gel electrophoresis in which your molecules migrate in a horizontal way. The second one is a vertical type of electrophoresis in which your molecule migrate in a vertical direction. And for example, the polyacrylamide gel. In polyacrylamide gel, when we perform in a laboratory, your molecule migrated in a vertical direction, and that's why this type of electrophoresis known as a vertical type of electrophoresis. Dear students, depending upon the gel how present inside the electrophoretic unit. Specifically, when we talking about the horizontal electrophoresis, means the agarose gel electrophoresis, in which we prepared the gel, and in horizontal electrophoresis, your agarose gel totally submerged into the buffer, and that's why this type of electrophoresis also known as submerged electrophoresis. And the vertical electrophoresis again classified into the two types. There is a tube gels electrophoresis and slab gel electrophoresis. Dear students, we prepare or we perform the polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis in our laboratory. At that time we prepared the gel in between the two glass plates. And if you perform the electrophoresis in which your gel present in between the two glass plates, such type of gel electrophoresis known as a slab gel electrophoresis, and the example is polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis. And the tube gel electrophoresis means what? You can pour the gelling agent into the small tubes which is open from the both side, and this electrophoresis known as a tube gel electrophoresis. Dear students, you can observe at this slide the two electrophoretic unit. First one is the horizontal gel electrophoretic system, in which you can observe here. So this one is the horizontal electrophoresis. There is a gel casting tray at the center, and this one is the buffer reservoir in which we can pour the buffer. And you can observe here is one electrode and here is another electrode. So if it is a positive electrode, then it is negative electrode. So this electrode we can join to the power pack with the help of wires. This one is the vertical gel electrophoresis, in which there is a cassette of two glass slides, and in between the two glass slides we prepare the gel, and that cassettes of gel keep inside this unit or vertical system of electrophoresis. Dear students, these are the various types of stains. Means after the performing of electrophoresis and after the completion of electrophoresis process, you have to visualize the molecules. It may be the DNA, or it may be the RNA, or it may be the proteins. So whatever the molecules separated within the gel, it should be visualized. Then and then we can analyze the result of the electrophoresis. So there is a requirement of different types of stains molecules or different types of stains to visualize the different types of molecules. So you can observe here there is a different types of stains: amido black, Komatsu blue. This Komatsu blue routinely we use in a laboratory to perform polyacrylamide gel electrophoresis, in which we stain the proteins molecule. We can visualize the protein bands by using Komatsu blue. Then there is a aniline naphthalene sulfonate, then Nile red, sapro orange, fluorocarmine. So these are the different types of stains we use for the visualization of protein molecule. Then there is a silver chloride, sapro red, silver chloride we can use for the protein as well as the DNA also. And this ethidium bromide. This ethidium bromide is a well-known stain or fluorescently dye, and this dye routinely we use to visualize the DNA and RNA, specifically during agarose gel electrophoresis. Now dear students, I would like to explain the first paper electrophoresis. So paper electrophoresis just like a paper chromatography. So first of all, I would like to explain what happened during the paper chromatography. In paper chromatography, we load the sample on the surface of paper. It may be the Watsman filter paper or the paper made up of the cellulose molecule. When we apply the sample and keep that paper, dry paper, after application, that dry paper inside the solvent system. So in paper chromatography, with the help of capillary action, your mobile phase start to travels toward the upward direction. And whenever your mobile phase travels toward the opposite end of that paper, simultaneously your mobile phase also responsible to migrate your molecules. And during that time, your molecule interact with your mobile phase and your stationary medium, means with paper. And depending upon the reaction of your molecule with paper and mobile phase, if your molecule highly reactive with the paper, the molecule migrate with a slow speed. If your molecule highly reactive with the mobile phase as compared to the stationary phase, such type of molecule migrated during the chromatography very fastly. In the same way, your molecule also travels toward the opposite charge electrode in paper electrophoresis. And on the paper we load the sample, and your sample having a particular charge. In chromatography, there is no requirement of the charge or charge molecule. We can separate that molecule on the basis of chemical nature. But in paper electrophoresis, we require the specific charge molecule, or we are interested only in the separation of charge bearing molecule. So if your sample having a particular charge, and if that sample load on the surface of paper and we apply the electric field, so under the influence of electric field, your molecule start to migrate toward the opposite charge electrode. And due to the porous in nature of your paper, your molecule can migrate toward the opposite charge electrode through that paper. And these molecules continuously interact with your paper due to the adsorption principle. And depending upon the different chemical nature, depending upon the charge, depending upon the size and shape, your molecule differentially interact, adsorb on the surface of paper, right? And that's why the different types of molecule migrated toward the opposite charge electrode with a different speed, and on the basis of that we can separate the different molecule from a mixture. So this one is the basic principle of paper electrophoresis. Now what type of component required for paper electrophoresis? So you can observe this slide. In this slide you can observe there is a paper electrophoretic unit. For the paper electrophoresis we need the two buffer reservoirs. Okay, this one is the first buffer tank and this one is the second tank, in which the same type of buffer we can pour. And in between these two tank or two buffer reservoir there is a space, and in between these two there is the paper strips. That paper strips keep in such a way that the paper strip should be immersed in a buffer solution in both tank. Now in this way we can assemble this paper electrophoresis assembly, both the tank having individual electrode, this tank having individual electrode, so that both the tank connected to the battery, to the power pack, and when we switch on the electric current, under the influence of electric current your molecule start to migrate. But before that I would like to explain how your sample should be loaded in a paper electrophoresis. So after the assembly of this paper electrophoresis, you can apply the sample mixture with the help of micropipette on the surface of paper, and your sample spot should be the 0.5 centimeter radius. So you can apply your sample on the surface of paper in this way, and then your paper should be equilibrate with the buffer. So your paper, after the equilibration of your paper with buffer molecules, then you can switch on the electric current. After electric current switch on, your electrophoresis process start, and under the influence of electric current, whatever the molecule loaded here, if in that sample spot some molecule may have a negative charge, some molecule may have a positive charge, so negative charge molecule will be migrated toward the positive electrode, and positive charge bearing molecules migrated toward the negative electrodes. And in this way, your samples containing the different charge molecules may separated with the help of paper electrophoresis. So different molecule migrated toward the opposite electrode with a different speed, and in this way your sample mixture separated into the different bands, but that bands unable to visualize, or we cannot seen by our naked eye. So for that purpose we require the different types of visualization method. Before going to discuss about the different types of visualization method, I would like to explain the different types of buffer and their composition utilized for the paper chromatography. You can see here, for the protein there is a barbitol and phosphate buffer routinely we use, which having a barbitol having a 8.6 pH and ionic strength is a 0.05. Then the phosphate buffer having 7.4 pH, and it is utilized again for the protein separation. Then the nucleoprotein means the histone proteins. For that purpose we can use the acetate buffer or citrate buffer. For the amino acid we can use the phosphate buffer with 4.6 pH, and the ionic strength will be 0.15. So these are the different types of buffer systems we can use in the paper chromatography for the separation of proteins, nucleoproteins and amino acids. Now at this slide you can observe the different types of visualizing agents. For the protein we can use the bromophenol blue, we can use acetic acid, dancyl chloride and furosemide. This will be the visual or quantitative fluorescent and very sensitive method. For the nucleic acid we can use the methyl green pyridine or ethidium bromide. So this one is again ethidium bromide is able to produce the fluorescence, and that's why by using the fluorescence mechanism we can visualize the nucleic acid. For the polysaccharide there is a iodine, and it is also the sensitive and we can observe by our naked eye. For the lipoprotein there is a Sudan black in 60% ethyl alcohol. Then for the glycoprotein we can use the Alcian blue. So these are the different types of visualizing agents or staining agents. After the staining we can observe the separated molecules. So in this way we routinely perform the paper electrophoresis in our laboratory. So what are the application of paper electrophoresis? Dear students, in a laboratory routinely perform this paper electrophoresis for the separation of serum proteins, which are very important for the diagnostic purpose. Means in a serum there is some protein act as a molecular marker for the identification, for the diagnosis of disease. So such type of serum analysis carried out by using the paper chromatography. Second one is the muscle protein, egg white protein, milk protein and snakes insect venoms also can analyze and separated by using this paper chromatography, paper electrophoresis. This paper electrophoresis also responsible to separate the various types of charge bearing molecules. So thanks for watching my lecture. If you have any questions, please ask me on the following mobile number. My mobile number is 9096578077. Thank you. Thanks.